Some would say that this is the beginning of the end for legacy automakers like Toyota, Honda, Fiat, things like that. And I would have to agree. I think it's starting to feel like it could be. I've been doing some digging on this because it's really important, I think, to really understand where they're at with this. And reading a lot of articles, and I can see that there is genuinely a reason to be concerned. Basically, this is a big problem for legacy auto. By 2025, big Chinese EV manufacturers and non-EV manufacturers, such as BYD, these manufacturers are hoping to have 500 humanoid robots per 10,000 human workers in the workforce in the car manufacturing industry in China. Basically, 5% of the Chinese workforce in the next 2 years is aimed at being robots. So that's a bit dodgy, isn't it? That's weird. So it's scary to think about it because it's stuff like this that we saw in like Star Trek, isn't it? It's a bit crazy, but it's real and things are just moving really, really fast. And there are videos here on YouTube showing what they can do and how they can work. And it's not just about the Tesla robot where there's one running, but the things that they can do in an industrial setting or in the industrial context. They can literally, pick up body panels, doors, walk around with them. They can pick up a screwdriver, screw in screws, and then sense, like if it's starting to slip, and then like shove the screwdriver in so as to not round the head of the screw bit, for example. Like really incredible stuff, like really kind of tune in with what they're doing with the screwdriver and that sort of stuff. So what does this mean for the likes of Toyota and Honda and other companies then? I think there's definitely something to think about here. So an engineer from BYD said that it will basically, in the short term, allow for a 15% cost reduction in the production of certain cars, which sounds quite a lot, but that's what they said. So certain cars that they sell, I would imagine that the actual cost saving would be less than 15% because that just sounds a bit lofty, like it's meant to be almost like a bit of an outward threat to other manufacturers that they're making a 15% drop in their construction costs and we're ahead of you. But I think in reality they are ahead of a lot of other companies. That's part of the issue for legacy auto, isn't it? As we'll get into in a second. So can you imagine how outdated some people are now going to be feeling in legacy auto, like Subaru, Toyota, Honda, Fiat? They're becoming quickly outdated, in my opinion. And I have always loved Toyota and Honda. So it hurts to say it, honestly. I really, really want Toyota to succeed in the next 20 years, but I am not feeling confident about that at all. They make cars that can last, typically, or they could make cars that lasted way more than most other companies. That the switches on the dashboard and the handles that are made of plastic, they all still work after 15, 20 years. Other cars, I know that, literally the handles will break off because the plastic was rubbish or switches start failing. So there is a need for, a better understanding of how they can produce good quality EVs, that's for sure, and efficiently and be competitive in this next generation that we're in now, because we're no longer in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, noughties. We're in the information age, the tech age. This is a big deal we're in. So there is a need for a workforce skilled in robotics. This is also a big concern, I think, for manufacturers. And the more of these hurdles that are jumped by Chinese EV manufacturers, the further behind legacy auto is becoming. And that is an issue. So the skill gap is also getting bigger too. And as the people that can work with robots are going to be basically working in China, and then there'll be some people that might be able to work in, say, Silicon Valley, or maybe a couple in Germany or Slovakia or somewhere like that, where they make a lot of parts for cars. It is, and maybe you could even say like Japan as well, I guess, and maybe other parts of the US, not just Silicon Valley. Finding these people that can operate and not just build these robots, but also understand them and how to work with them and repair them and stuff. Finding those employees that can work them is going to be a tough thing. This is a concern, I think, for all companies, not just Chinese EVs. Like, how can BYD, for example, get those people with those qualifications and those skill sets? But then once those people have been snapped up, how do we do that with how does Fiat and Volkswagen and Toyota do it, because you can't just train people in 2 years to deal with robots. This is a big deal. So I don't think that really gets talked about. From what I can see, nobody's mentioned that. The skill gap is getting bigger as things are getting more technologically advanced. But they have basically a big head start at this point, Chinese EVs. So I can't imagine this going really that badly for Chinese EVs. This is looking quite grey, I would say, for Toyota and Subaru and Honda, and most other companies. I think they desperately need to reflect on the importance of embracing change and innovation in the auto industry to remain competitive. I think they really need to just, reflect on that last sentence there. They've really got to try to be competitive, embrace this new wave of technology and advancements that's sort of been snapped up by Chinese EVs. Whether they want to or not, that's the way things are going. Folks, what do you think about this? What do you think about the challenge here for legacy automakers? Am I wrong? Because that's how I'm seeing it. What do you all think? Let me know in the comments. And thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.